What is going on, everybody? How's everyone doing today? We are here with my final pre-lottery NBA mock draft. So the actual lottery is going to be on the 20th. I'll be reacting to that on the channel, and I'll make my post-lottery mock draft. But this is going to be the final mock draft we're going to be doing before the lottery. It's going to be the bubble edition. So if you guys do enjoy these mock drafts, don't forget to drop a thumbs up on the video, and you can let me know in the comments what you guys think of my first round mock draft. We're going to be doing 30 picks today. I was going to use ESPN's mock draft machine. They finally updated the prospects, but they still have the 2015 draft order in it, so yeah, we can't do it on ESPN. So we're here on Real GM, and the only thing about them is I don't think they have ONYEKA OKONGWU in here, so we'll just have to put a random player in that place. So I didn't perform the lottery. We're going to do it with the current standings, and let's see. The Golden State Warriors have the #1 overall pick. I'm going to have them select Anthony Edwards. Now, maybe Wiseman would make a little bit more sense because they do need a center or just a starting center in general. So I have them taking Anthony Edwards because this is what I think they will do, not what I would do personally. And I've seen a lot of rumors on sites that says if they do get the #1 overall pick, they are going to go with Anthony Edwards out of Georgia. So this leaves us with the Cavs and the 2nd overall pick. Now, LaMelo would be interesting because they need star power. They need that name. They need that kind of boom potential guy in LaMelo Ball. But in the 2018 draft, they took Colin Sexton in the first round in the top 10 too. And then in 2019, they took Darius Garland in the top 10, another point guard. So I'm going to have them select James Wiseman here out of Memphis. Andre Drummond is going to be a free agent. He's probably going to opt in this summer. So he's going to be a unrestricted free agent in 2021. So he could just kind of they can groom Wiseman next year and then have him be the full starting center going forward, pairing him up with Sexton and Garland. So yeah, we're going to have the Cavs select Mr. Wiseman there with the 2nd pick. Now, Minnesota at 3. This word also gets interesting because LaMelo's still on the board, but I just don't see them taking LaMelo. I wouldn't. I don't think him and D'Lo is a backcourt that would work. Maybe they would trade down to the Knicks. That would probably be a smarter decision, try to get maybe the Clippers and one of the future Dallas picks. Sure. But I'm going to have them select, I think it's going to be Obi Toppin. Now, he's not in my top 15 prospects in this draft. I'm not a fan of Obi Toppin in the NBA. I think he could be a good player, but I don't know if he can be a really good one, and that's what you want with the 3rd overall pick. But I think they're going to want to get that guy that they can put next to Karl-Anthony Towns, so I'm going to have them selecting Obi Toppin at Dayton here with the 3rd overall pick. Now, this is where it gets weird, too, because I wouldn't see the Hawks selecting LaMelo Ball. Just him and Trae Young, it wouldn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, I'm not going to have them take LaMelo. I'm going to have them taking DENI AYDIJA out of Maccabi Tel Aviv in Israel. I think he's a player that can maybe play shooting guard in the NBA and be next to Trae Young, and I think that's what they would want. Obviously, they have their center in Clint Capella. They have their power forward in John Collins. They have their kind of small forwards in DeAndre Hunter and Cam Reddish, who they both got in the lottery in the 2019 draft. They have their point guard, obviously, in Trae Young. They kind of need that, too. I don't know if it's going to be Kevin Huerter, but maybe it could be DENI AYDIJA. And then here we are going to have the Detroit Pistons select LaMelo Ball with the 5th pick. I don't think he would fall this low on draft night, but there's like I don't know many teams that would take LaMelo Ball. I don't think Minnesota would. I don't think Atlanta would. I don't think Golden State would. So maybe Cleveland would. And then I think it's going to come down to either Cleveland, Detroit, or New York, or depending if somebody wins the lottery, like Charlotte, Washington, or Chicago. But yeah, Detroit is going to be taking LaMelo Ball here with the 5th pick. Now, the Knicks, I think they need a point guard. I think they really want LaMelo Ball. I think that's pretty clear to everyone. So I think they would go with Cole Anthony here. I think he does have boom potential. You guys know I'm high on Cole Anthony more than others, and I think he would be a good point guard in the NBA. He's a good shooter. He's a good scorer. He's a solid passer. He's good in transition. He's athletic. And I've said it again, he was in a horrible position in UNC last year, so I think the Knicks could go Cole Anthony here with the 6th overall pick and get their point guard for the future. Now, at 7, I think the Bulls would try to go for more of a small forward hybrid or combo kind of wing, and that is going to be Isaac Okoro. They need some defense. Obviously, Zach LaVine isn't the greatest defender. Larry Markkinen, something special, or Kobe White at this moment, so getting Isaac Okoro would be huge for that team. Oh, and they do have ONYEKA OKONGWU. Oh, sweet. Okay, so we're going to have the Washington Wizards select OKONGWU at 8 because John Mahim is a free agent. Thomas Bryant's looking like he could be a solid center in the NBA, but nothing crazy, so I think they could go OKONGWU. He's a good defender. They need defense, and Thomas Bryant isn't a great defensive center, so getting OKONGWU would be huge, and yeah, they're adding him to that defense, which they need, because they were the worst defensive team in the NBA this year, and I think OKONGWU would be great for them. I don't know if he falls to 8 on draft night. Hornets, they would probably be so upset. They need a center. Wiseman or OKONGWU are probably their guys, but they're not going to be there at 9, so I'm going to have the Hornets going Killian Hayes here. Now, Terry Rozier has 2 years left on his contract. Devontae Graham will be a free agent soon, restricted now. They might think these are their guards for the future, but I wouldn't bet on that. Like, maybe Rozier won't be here in 2 years, and that's where Killian Hayes can end up being a starting guard for them. And I think they would like the potential over Hayes than maybe going for something safer like a Haliburton, who might end up being a better player, but who has a higher ceiling? I think Killian Hayes does, personally. And speaking of Tyrese Haliburton, I'm going to have him go to the Sacramento Kings here at pick 10. I don't know the future of Buddy Hield. Is he going to be there much longer? Who knows? But I think he's a combo guard. He can play shooting guard. He's a good passer. He's good in transition. I think he can play a nice run and gun offense with De'Aaron Fox, and I have him going to the Kings at 10. Now, with the 11th pick, I'm going to have the Pelicans go Kira Lewis. Now, it could be between Lewis, it could be Hampton, it could be Maxey, but the reason I have them taking Lewis, or just a point guard in general, is because they really don't have all that good of a backup point guard at the moment. Frank Jackson's all right, but they could definitely do better here with their 11th overall pick. Lonzo Ball will be a restricted free agent in 2021. Who knows if a team's going to throw like 20 mil at him, or a lot more than New Orleans is willing to pay for him. So they're like, oh, we don't want to match that. So this could be maybe a backup plan. And Kira Lewis, they play in that run and gun offense with Zion, with Lonzo at the moment, and Brandon Ingram and Drew Holiday. And I feel like he's that type of guy. He's a great transition point guard. And I think the Pelicans, this would be a great pick for them at 11. Point guard is definitely the most deep position in this draft. And we're going to have another point guard, or just a combo guard. You could view him as a 2. But for this kind of situation, I'm going to have him as a point guard, and that's the Suns selecting Tyrese Maxey out of Kentucky. Ricky Rubio is under contract for 2 more years, but he's getting up there in age, and they definitely need that point guard or that kind of counter partner to Devin Booker in the backcourt for the next 10 years, and maybe that could be Tyrese Maxey. With the 13th pick, I'm going to have the San Antonio Spurs selecting Aaron Nesmith out of Vanderbilt. He's a really good shooter and scorer, and that's kind of what these Spurs need. DeMar DeRozan, like, a lot of these picks have kind of pending implications on what certain new free agents are going to be, like DeMar DeRozan, like I've said with Lonzo Ball and Andre Drummond. But DeMar DeRozan will probably opt into his player option here in the 2020 offseason, but in 2021, he'll be an unrestricted free agent, and this is a young Spurs team that's kind of rebuilding or retooling at the moment, and I don't know if DeMar DeRozan is in their future plan, so I think they can go for maybe his successor, who could be a really good scorer in the NBA and a good shooter, and that is Aaron Nesmith out of Vanderbilt. Alright, so I was going to have the Portland Trail Blazers here with the last pick in the lottery select Devin Vassell, but he is not coming up in their database, so I'll just pick some random guy, right? I don't believe I see. Yeah, Devin Vassell isn't here, so I'll just have this guy go for him. But yeah, Devin Vassell, he's a good 3-and-D guy, or just I think he has that potential to be somebody that fits that mold in the NBA, the 3-and-D guy. The Blazers need wing help desperately. They can't be rolling out Nasir Little and Trevor Ariza next year, and I think Vassell could be a pretty good player for them. For some reason, it had me select Jaden McDaniels. Oh, come on, someone needs to make a really good mock draft simulator here for the NBA, because the NFL, they have such good ones with like the Draft Network and PFF, but not much for the NBA. So I guess just make believe that's Devin Vassell. I apologize. But with the 15th pick, I'm gonna have the Orlando Magic select RJ Hampton, a guard with potential, who played in the NBL this year, and they don't really have a good backup point guard at the moment. DJ Augustine is getting up there in age, and he might not be back next year, and he could be behind Fultz, as you can see in the Magic depth chart. So, or he could be at the backup shooting guard as well at some point. So I think this would be a pretty solid pick for the Magic at 15. I don't know if he falls that far on draft night. With the 16th pick, I'm going to have the Boston Celtics take Precious Achiuwa out of Memphis. He's a player that's kind of like a Swiss Army knife on defense. He can play the 3, the 4, or the 5 where he might be best suited at. And I think the Celtics, they need a center. And he might be an undersized center, but so is like Grant Williams, or he's an undersized big. And I think they could make use out of Achiuwa, and he could be maybe the backup to Daniel Tice next year, and I would like that pick for the Celtics at 16. They don't have Patrick Williams either. Oh, come on. Yeah, so I guess I forgot to change the pick there for Jaden McDaniels. But yeah, pretend this is Patrick Williams out of Florida State. I'm going to have him go to the Minnesota Timberwolves at pick 17. People say he might be the best perimeter defender in this draft, and the Timberwolves need defensive help, so I think this would be a solid pick. With the 18th pick, I'm going to have the Dallas Mavericks select Aleksej Pukazeski out of the Olympiacos Greece League. He's a big that can shoot. Kind of what they use, obviously, with Kristaps Porzingis and Maxi Kleber, and I think he could definitely fit the mold of that team. And I don't know if he would fall, like I said, for a lot of these picks. I don't know if he will fall to 18 on draft night, but if he does, I think the Mavericks would take him. With the 19th pick, I'm going to have the Brooklyn Nets select Josh Green, a shooting guard out of Arizona, could definitely play the 3 as well, but I think he could definitely back up Karis LeVert next season, so I have him going to the Nets at 19. Oh, wait, they do have Patrick Williams? I am failing this draft completely. So, make believe that 14 is Devin Vassell and 17 is Patrick Williams. But I'm going to have the Milwaukee Bucks select Theo Maledon here with the 20th overall pick. This is obviously the Pacers pick from the Malcolm Brogdon sign and trade. George Hill's getting up there in age. He might not be back, or he's under contract, but you know what I mean. He could definitely benefit Theo Maledon from being in the G League because he is kind of raw as a prospect, and learning from George Hill and Eric Bledsoe, two veteran good point guards, can be huge for him. So I think this would be a great pick for the Bucks at 20. With the 21st pick, I'm going to have the Philadelphia 76ers select Tre Jones out of Duke. He's a veteran kind of college guard. He's has a high basketball IQ, and they need a backup point guard behind Ben Simmons or whoever's their point guard next year, if it's like Shake Milton and they run Ben Simmons at the 4. Either way, he's better than Raul Neto, or I think he honestly would be better next year than Raul Neto. So I'm going to have the Sixers select Tre Jones here at 21. With the 22nd pick, I'm going to have the Utah Jazz select Leandro Bolmaro. He's a crafty European wing that I think could provide scoring for the Jazz off the bench, which they really need a lot. They need some offense, especially in the second unit, and I'm going to have him go to the Jazz here at 22. So with the 23rd pick, I'm going to have the Miami Heat select Nico Mannion, a point guard out of Arizona. Goran Dragic is getting up there in age, and I think he could be a nice third point guard for them, and he could spend time in the G League next season and learning also from Goran Dragic, which can be huge. So they're going to take Nico Mannion here with the 23rd pick. With the 24th pick, I'm going to have the Denver Nuggets select Jalen Smith, a big out of Maryland. Paul Millsap is going to be a free agent. It's kind of been rumored that Jeremy Grant is going to opt out of his player option and be an unrestricted free agent. So even if he's not going to be the starting power forward next year, he could definitely be a backup for them, and I think that would be useful here with the 24th pick, so I have him going to the Nuggets. So pretend this pick at 25 is going to be Jaden McDaniels out of Washington to the Thunder, but I already had him go, so Sean McDermott is going to be the pick. But yeah, McDaniels is a super raw prospect, but the Thunder have one of the better player development staffs in the NBA, and if he can pan out, he could be a good 3 or 4 in the NBA, so I've been going to the Thunder at 25, and that is Jaden McDaniels, just to clarify. With the 26th pick, I'm going to have the Boston Celtics take another big man, and that is going to be Vernon Carey Jr. out of Duke. They need centers, right? Because Daniel Tice, he's not getting any younger. They kind of need that real good rim protector, even though Daniel Tice is pretty underrated in the NBA, but they kind of need that backup because Enes Kanter might not be back. Who knows if Robert Williams is ever going to develop? So I'm going to have the Celtics take Vernon Carey at 26. With the 27th pick, I'm going to have the New York Knicks select Saddiq Bey out of Villanova. Saddiq Bey kind of emerged this year as the #1 guy in Nova. He's a good scoring wing who could play defense, and I think that would be kind of huge for the Knicks. This might be Mo Harkless's last year, depending on what the Knicks want to do with him, if they want to bring him back. Who knows if Kevin Knox is ever going to develop into that kind of starting small forward in the NBA that a lot of people projected him to. So I'm going to have the Knicks take Saddiq Bey at 27. With the 28th pick, I'm going to have the Toronto Raptors select Jahmi'us Ramsey. Like the Heat, like the Thunder, they have a great player development staff, and I think he'd be a very nice kind of combo guard off the bench for them next year. Maybe we'll spend some time in the G League, but that could definitely benefit him because they have such a loaded roster at the moment. But you've seen what they've done with Pascal Siakam, Fred VanVleet, Terrence Davis, Chris Boucher. They could definitely develop Jahmi'us Ramsey. With the 29th pick, I'm going to have the LA Lakers select Robert Woodyard out of Mississippi State. They need guys that can come off the bench and just make an impact, and Kyle Kuzma is going to be restricted free agent in 2021. Who knows what they're going to do with him? Most of their bench is on 1 or 2 year contracts, so he could definitely get playing time sooner rather than later. And with the 30th pick, I'm going to have the Boston Celtics select Cash Winston out of Michigan State. Like Tre Jones, he's a veteran college guard. He's kind of like Carson Edwards though, so I don't know if the Celtics would actually do that now that I'm thinking about it, but I think he could end up being better than Carson Edwards in the NBA. But I also don't expect the Celtics to make 3 selections on draft night. I think they're going to end up trading one of those picks. So yeah, here's my final mock draft. As you can see, the only things you got to change around is at 14, this is actually Devin Vassell and not Jaden McDaniels. At 17, this is supposed to be Patrick Williams, not Xarius Williams. And then at 25, this is supposed to be Jaden McDaniels, not Sean McDermott. But yeah, that is going to be for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the mock draft video. Drop a thumbs up if you guys did enjoy. And like I said, once the lottery happens, I'll come out with my post-lottery mock draft. Like always, thank you all for watching. I love you guys, and I'll see you guys next video. Peace.